saying, brother. The numbers don't lie.
Cream rise to the top. Oh,
yeah. And welcome to The Cell. Pleasure to have you back for episode 2. Hank Ambrose is your host of the show, coming off of the first episode where I actually have a name for the podcast. And our special guest today, it is my longest known friend, my friend Jackson from my hometown. Jackson, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
I wanted to start by talking about how we kind of became friends and how we got into pro wrestling. I thought it'd be funny if we both heard how we remember, because I don't think I really I remember how we became friends, but I don't really remember how me and you got big into pro wrestling when we were little kids. Do you recall anything?
So I remember, I think we were in Cub Scouts, and
yep.
I think we were doing that pumpkin drawing thing, and you were like dressed as the Undertaker. And
yep. Yeah.
I was like, what the hell is this dude dressed as? And then I'm pretty sure I made fun of you for it for a while until we started playing the games on your, what was it, an Xbox?
I think PlayStation 2.
PlayStation 2, yeah. We started playing the wrestling games on the PlayStation 2. And I'm like, all right, this shit's pretty lit. And then you started showing me like Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania, the Money in the Bank matches. I'm like, all right, this is pretty awesome.
Yeah, okay, cool. That's more or less how I remember. I remember becoming friends with you in Cub Scouts at the local, well, I guess it's the county park. And I didn't know how to ride a bike at the time, which is really embarrassing because I was I was like in first grade or something. And you had a bike. And I remember I was running through and jogging next to you as you were trying to trudge up the hill. I do believe that's how we became friends. And then, yes, I definitely recall, and I definitely have photos of me going as The Undertaker. I don't know what year or how old I was, but I was young. It was definitely early grade school. That's funny that's how you remember it. But same. I also remember it more or less starting with playing the video games, and then I had a bunch of DVDs and VHS.
Also, your trampoline. We were doing a bunch of wrestling shit on your trampoline as well. Broke my neck.
Having the neighbor kids come over, and I was where my house was at the time from my hometown, relatively close to like the middle school and one of the grade schools, so it was definitely a hotter spot for kids to come and play. And yeah. Yeah, you were almost breaking your neck on the trampoline though. That was great.
Like, come on, mom. Wait, no, I'm
good. Yeah. You were not a very limber kid back then, to say the least.
Absolutely not.
Oh, that's great. Well, yeah, and then basically each of the times we'd hang out, it would be playing video games to some degree, SmackDown versus Raw, and then eventually the early WWE 2K games. And I have a few other funnier stories that I remember of just like us talking through the years. So we went to different schools from our hometown.
Yeah, I went to private school till 7th grade, actually.
Yeah. And that was a Catholic private school. And I recall a story of you would go dressed basically up as Jeff Hardy, except like in the polo, like you would dye your hair and like wear the wristbands, but it was against the rules. So like the principal, is this true?
Yeah, made me wash my hair out in the bathroom. So I came back to class literally with still red hair, just soaking wet.
Oh my gosh, that is hilarious. Yeah, that is funny. Any other memories you recall from doing that?
I remember one time when we were playing, I think it was still SmackDown versus Raw, but actually I don't know if Yoshitatsu was in those games.
Yes, I remember. Sorry, go ahead. I'm so happy you brought this up.
What do we go back and forth like 20 times in a row with the fucking the counter punch?
Yeah.
And then one time, I don't remember which one of us it was, but one of us was Shawn Michaels, and we were trying to super kick the other one, and the referee got knocked the fuck out with the super kick out of nowhere.
So that's hilarious. So first off with the Yoshitatsu thing, which is like a name that like should not be remembered in the history of like pro wrestling at all, because like he never like
almost died.
Never did anything. But yeah, you could, I mean, you can in all the games, but you could counter in, I don't know what it would have been. It would have been like SmackDown versus Raw 2009 or 2010, whatever game was out around then. And yeah, I remember the counter was so broken because here's the thing. All you had to do,
unlimited.
Yeah, it was unlimited, and all you had to do was press a button. So we would, yeah, I remember lasting for a very long time, going back and forth countering each other, and it was just like, it was ridiculous. I also remember the Shawn Michaels sweet chin music to the referee. That is quite incredible. And I remember all the times we'd go down to the basement and we would do the Road to WrestleManias.
Yep.
With Kofi Kingston, the Jamaican Kofi Kingston. Yeah, the good times. And then when we got older and we eventually got into middle school, I think you did a better job at keeping up with like that modern day pro wrestling. Like that.
100%. Like I was watching Edge, I was watching Rey Mysterio, I was watching The Big Show, Alberto Del Rio, and that I think that was at WrestleMania with Fatal 4-Way ladder match where Edge got retired basically after he won.
Yeah. But the Summer of Punk was really big. And I do recall you always sharing with me each time we'd hung out, like something new that came out. And then eventually around the same time, or maybe a little, I don't know if it was a little after for you or not, but we basically fell out of pro wrestling around the same time.
Definitely fell out of WWE, but I kept up with Jeff Hardy until what's it called that you know what the pay-per-view's called where he had his little thing with Sting.
Yeah, Road to Glory, TNA, I believe it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was
I kept up with TNA for Jeff Hardy and that's about it.
Which I didn't realize how big of a thing TNA like really was. Like I just thought it was like, oh, whatever stupid thing on Spike TV or whatever.
I was watching Jeff Hardy smoke cigarettes live on TV.
At like 11 years old?
Yeah.
What did your parents think of that? I just spit out my water.
My parents didn't give a shit. You know my parents. My dad was like asleep somewhere, and my mom was like sitting in her chair.
Oh God, pro wrestling is just crazy. That's what's so awesome about it. I mean, I think that's what it really is. The driving factor for me is like all the craziness that happens. But anyway, how would you describe your modern day knowledge of pro wrestling and all that?
I would describe it as I watched a recap of SmackDown and Raw this week, and The Rock returned for some reason for like the 80th time.
Yeah, he likes to do that.
I'm kind of hoping that he faces Roman Reigns at the Elimination Chamber before WrestleMania.
It will be, yeah.
What happened to Money in the Bank? That happened already?
Yeah, that's still going on. So, so the Rumble's coming up first.
Okay.
And then in late February will be the Elimination Chamber, and then beginning weeks of April will be WrestleMania. But the point I was trying to get across is you're not really and correct me if I'm wrong.
Not kept up at all.
Yeah. But I appreciate you watching a recap of the recent or episodes. But something I thought would be really fun to do, because we were talking about, I got to have Jackson on a episode of the podcast to talk wrestling. I figured I'd go through a bunch of true or false facts about pro wrestling today or in general, and I basically want you to tell me if they are true or false in a quiz.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah, and I have everything from basically true or false and then a few other games. So if you're ready, let's do this.
Oh, I'm ready.
Okay. So Christian Cage, currently the top heel in AEW, got that status by going after wrestlers that have deceased fathers or are poor fathers. His bodyguard is a dinosaur that has gone by the name Luchasaurus. True or false?
True, but I think he changed his name. I do know that.
Oh, he did? Yeah. Okay, yeah, this is true. And Luchasaurus did change his name to Killswitch.
Yep.
Now, in preparation for coming up with all of these interesting facts, or some facts I think are interesting, I figured that would be something that if you told me and you 10 years ago, it would be like, what the hell? Lucha dinosaur bodyguard. Very insane.
Very, very insane.
Billy Gunn, a.k.a. Mr. Ass, has joined a stable at 60 years old that has the catchphrase, "Scissor me daddy ass." Then they proceeded to scissor hands, shake each other. True or false?
That's got to be false.
That is true, actually.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and that is a group that goes by the name The Acclaimed, excuse me. And it's two guys that are early 30s, definitely rising stars in the business. And one of them, Max Caster, comes out and raps, and they wear all pink gear. And they are, in my opinion, the closest thing to DX, basically.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but for AEW. Now, with that being said, the good DX and not the DX that we had when we were growing up, where it was like cringe dad humor with Hornswoggle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that is actually one that is true. Here's the third true or false question I have for you. In Matt Hardy's most recent character development in AEW, he had a kayfabe concussion and now strictly wrestles in the women's division, and last pay-per-view challenged for the women's TBS title.
That's gotta be true. No way. Is that true?
No. But,
damn it.
But I thought...
Damn it. That would be so great.
I'm not shocked that you would think that would be great. I think that would be total cancel culture, but
that would be so hilarious. Get him with that. What is it? The giraffe. Get that giraffe in the ring with that ladies division too.
What giraffe?
You've never seen Matt Hardy talk to the giraffe?
Oh yeah, like the broken Matt Hardy. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, what giraffe?
He's got a name. I don't know what his name is. That giraffe has a name, though.
I think it's Joffrey, maybe?
No, it's like Mr. Something, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it might be Joffrey.
Yeah, but to be fair, though, Matt Hardy did have a real concussion that happened like a year ago that was really bad, that he continued to wrestle with for the rest of that match. But yeah, no, that is false.
Unfortunately.
For number 4, this is also a true or false question. At the most recent World's End pay-per-view for AEW, Samoa Joe became the world champion after beating MJF. Samoa Joe never got a world title in WWE, not including the NXT world title. True or false?
Man, I really thought that guy was still in WWE. That's crazy. Gonna have to say...
Well, it could all be false. I could be making up Samoa Joe even being in AEW.
Gonna have to say false. I think Samoa Joe's still in WWE.
That's interesting that's what you think is false. By the way, this is all true. Samoa Joe is your new world champion in AEW, but never got a world title in WWE despite being one of the best TNA wrestlers.
He was one of the best TNA wrestlers. I thought, so is there two AEW championships like there is in WWE now?
Oh, good question. Yes and no. I think it depends on who you ask. So, are you familiar with the CM Punk run in AEW?
Barely.
Okay, so it was, oh gosh, how long ago was it now? It was like a year and a half ago. And CM Punk ended up beating Hangman Adam Page for the AEW World title. This is like a year and a half ago, or maybe even 2 years ago. And what ended up happening, as it was at an AEW pay-per-view called All Out, it's now popularized by the new nickname Brawl Out for what happened. CM Punk got in a huge fist fight with Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and then some other guys that were involved. And it led to a bunch of people getting suspended, and 2 people ended up being fired, I'm pretty sure.
CM Punk?
No. CM Punk
really?
was not originally fired, but he was suspended for a long time, like a year or something insane, right?
Wow.
So when he came back, he was still technically the champion, and he called it his real world title. And it was the AEW World title, and he totally New World Ordered it, and he put an X over his title.
Hell yeah.
But at that time, where CM Punk was suspended, they still needed a world title because that's your MacGuffin. Like, you can't get rid of a world title in pro wrestling. So they ended up giving it to Jon Moxley, and
he came back.
Yeah, and it eventually ended up in the hands of MJF. And
that's what I like to hear.
Yeah. And then, so there was a month or a few months where there was technically 2 world titles, to get back to what you were asking about, where MJF was the AEW World Champion, but CM Punk was his own real world champion and held the title that he never lost. And that was his gimmick for a short amount of time. And then they ended up doing a pay-per-view in London, which ended up being the most bought live pay-per-view of all time, or most like seats filled to a pro wrestling pay-per-view, even beating out WWE, WCW standards.
Oh, wow.
And again, there was another fight that ensued between CM Punk and this wrestler by the name of Jungle Boy Jack Perry, and which led to CM Punk getting fired.
That little guy had to get his ass beat.
Yeah. So CM Punk got fired for that fight, 2 strikes and he was out. And Jungle Boy Jack Perry has yet to return to AEW, still serving his suspension. And that's been since the summer. So,
wow.
And then most recently at Survivor Series, it was held in Chicago, and CM Punk returned to WWE.
And then I saw that. I saw Seth Rollins wasn't very happy about that.
No, which is just awesome. I mean, that's my favorite storyline going on right now in pro wrestling, because it crosses a line of real life heat and kayfabe pro wrestling heat, which is awesome to me. But yeah, to long story short, there is just technically 1 world title in AEW by the AEW brand, but also because AEW has partners with Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling. If you factor those in, then there's like 1 million world titles.
So which one does Cage have then?
Which one does what have?
I thought you said Christian was a champion right now.
Oh, Christian is the TNT world champion.
Okay. That's not like an equal. That's lesser.
I would say so. Yeah. Okay. That would be their IC title or US title.
All right. That makes sense.
Yeah. So that's what's going on to catch you up there. By the way, Christian and Edge's feud is awesome right now. You would love that. They just fought for that title, and their feud is still going on. So I definitely suggest checking that out.
I'm going to have to after this. I just started that video actually before I joined here.
Sweet. Yeah, it's awesome. Great feud. Okay, so on to our next true or false question. Despite his daughter being signed with WWE, Ric Flair is signed with AEW. True or false?
I'd say that's probably true. I think Ric Flair's still got some in him.
That is true. He's not
He's gonna have a heart attack in the middle of the ring.
No kidding. He's not wrestling right now. But he has been used as like a personality and like a manager, and he has thrown punches, which is just insane because he's in his 70s, but he's really has a 150-year-old body.
Literally.
Yeah. I mean, all those years of drinking and drugs have really done a number on him, and he's definitely shriveled up. And also,
I swear he was just in the hospital dying.
Yeah, he was. He literally was. He's a guy that has retired and unretired like 100 times in pro wrestling. And he had
there with The Rock.
Yeah, and he had the greatest send off in all of pro wrestling at WrestleMania against Shawn. Yeah, the greatest send off. And but his he has an energy drink as well. Have you heard about this?
I have not heard about this.
So I'd love to try it sometime just for the goof. But he has an energy drink called Woo.
I wonder if Ric Flair drinks Woo. Think his heart can handle that?
No way.
Just shotguns a Woo and fucking Woo.
There is no way. Ric Flair drinks his own energy drink. Yeah, it's Woo with 5 O's. I definitely would like to try sometime, but our local stores don't sell it, from what I know. I'm sure that I don't know. He's probably tried it as like a vodka Red Bull type of mix. But besides that, no. Okay, on to our next one. When MJF was the AEW World Title holder for the past year, the AEW strap had a Burberry pattern to match his scarf. True or false?
I can definitely imagine that being true. MJF deserves some type of extra belt love.
He does, and that is 100% true. It's awesome. I love MJF.
Same.
I should have asked you before we got into the true or false, how far are you into AEW, or how much are you familiar?
Oh, I didn't miss an episode for like the first year, but I haven't been keeping up lately.
MJF is awesome. He is the most valuable wrestler today. He's just incredible.
He's what The Miz should have been his whole career.
Yeah, basically. But in my opinion, and this might be crude for me to say, but I don't think The Miz is a very good in-ring wrestler. And MJF is really good.
Yeah.
Old school way. Like, he's not going to do a Jeff Hardy spot or anything like that, but he's, technically speaking, he's awesome.
That's for real.
Okay. And on to the WWE's true or falses. The WWE currently has 2 active modern-day top 5 title reigns in terms of length. Gunther is at number 1 with the Intercontinental title, and Roman Reigns is at number 4. True or false?
I'd say that's probably true because I think Roman Reigns has had it for a while, but I've never even heard the name Gunther. Like, what the hell is that?
What? Oh my God. Okay. First off, yeah, it is true. very, I think you could probably tell also by how specific I wrote that. That's probably on me as well. But that is 100% true, like I said. So first off with Gunther. Gunther is... I've had one of my pro wrestling friends say this, and it's the perfect way to describe him. So to give you a little backstory, he in kayfabe is a Austrian. I believe he's Austrian. Huge pro wrestler who kills you. And he is literally the most brutal pro wrestler ever. And he, a lot of the time, will go up against Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. And one of the things he's most famous for, and is definitely popularized, is he does these chops and these slaps. And it is the new school of blading. Like, this is like the new thing that wrestlers take now. And they have handprints across their chest. You also have to check out a Gunther match, because I don't know how you feel, but up until I've watched Gunther matches, I've been more of a fan of like the lucha libre style of like the smaller, quicker wrestlers, Shawn Michaels, Jeff Hardy, Rey Mysterio, so on and so forth. Gunther,
Rob Van Dam.
Yes, yeah. Gunther is one of the first guys to me where it's like, holy shit. No, the big boy wrestling is awesome. Like, if he was in like the 80s and 90s, he would be the greatest pro wrestler of all time. But what my pro wrestling friend has described Gunther, which I think is perfect, is if you were a chemist or a doctor, and if you were to create a pro wrestling heel that was perfect in every single way, then it would be Gunther. He is a stone cold killer. But yeah, he is coming on to, or maybe he's surpassed 500 days now with the Intercontinental title.
Kind of sounds like Rusev got a update to me.
Yeah, yeah. And here's the other thing: is he is a lot bigger than Rusev.
I'm about to look up a picture. Oh, wait, no, that's
in terms of height. He looks like, honestly, this is not PG to say, but he looks like a Nazi. Yeah. Like with his haircut and like how he presents himself and everything. He is a badass. Yeah. And then Roman Reigns currently at the time of this recording is 4th all time in
so he passed CM Punk?
WWE title rank. Oh yeah, he is very, very far past CM Punk actually. So it's actually, what's interesting is it's like, I think it's the top 6 wrestlers or for like the longest reigns for a single reign is all past 1,000 days. And then there's like a 500-day drop off. So CM Punk is like 8th on the list at like, I think that Summer of Punk in that whole year was 434, I think.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah. But Roman he's in the 1200s. And he's getting really close to Bruno Sammartino's second reign, which is also at like 1220 or something insane like that.
Oh my gosh, I said Rusev got a reskin, but it looks like Vladimir Kozlov may have got a reskin actually, like Jesus.
Vladimir Kozlov is or Gunther is what Vladimir Kozlov was supposed to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gunther is amazing. He is literally the type of wrestler where you could know nothing and turn on a match and just be like, holy crap. And he's also, I don't know if you're looking at the images of him right now, has lost a lot of weight. So
yeah, I'm seeing that.
Yeah, he's a super tall guy. And he was huge in the indies over in like the United Kingdom and stuff. And like NXT had a short-lived like NXT United Kingdom run for a short while. And then he was huge there. And then by the time he's came over, he's just been phenomenal. And he is yet to be pinned on the main roster.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's Gunther for you. And resuming the quiz, a common career choice of retired pro wrestlers, especially from WWE, is acting. There's been plenty iconic roles in movies they have been a part of, including Andre the Giant in Princess Bride, The Rock in Moana, Batista in Guardians of the Galaxy, John Cena as Peacemaker, among many more. Of those, just one pro wrestler has been awarded an Oscar. True or false?
False.
That is false. Do you know the actual number?
Is it? It's 0, isn't it?
It is 0.
Okay.
There's yet to be a pro wrestler turned actor that has won an Oscar. As far as the research I have looked
I think
into.
Batista's got to be the closest.
Yeah. There's been numerous nominations. Like all of those wrestlers for those roles, besides John Cena's Peacemaker, have been nominated for an Oscar or been a part of a crew that has been nominated for an Oscar. Yeah. On to the next, another true or false question. As of this recording, Logan Paul is the current United States title holder and will defend it against Kevin Owens at the Royal Rumble.
Is that false? I'm pretty sure that's false, but I keep seeing him there and it just don't make any sense to me.
That is true.
Really? Wow.
As well as the match. Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens for the U.S. title. Logan ended up beating Rey Mysterio for the belt in Saudi Arabia.
Wow.
Yeah, which is just crazy to say. Have you watched any Logan Paul matches?
I have not, no, but I know that dude Kevin Owens has been after that United States Championship for about 5 years now.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a question that might come back to that down the line. Yeah, for a hint for you. As of this recording, throughout 2023, AEW has sold more pay-per-view buys than WWE.
I'd say that's true.
That is false. Despite all the success of AEW, WWE has still sold more pay-per-view buys. And
wow.
that's for the TV buys. Yeah. And that does still, even though AEW has connections to places like New Japan, and they have a Lucha Libre connection, and so all of these federations from across the states, but still, yeah, WWE. Okay, this is kind of a different take on the true or false, but in the same vein. So I'm going to name some wrestlers who are modern era Grand Slam champions. That consists of a wrestler once holding the WWE title, IC title, US title, and a tag title. I'm going to name the names, and I want you to tell me the imposter.
All right.
There is one. There is one that is not a Grand Slam champion. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. And this is for WWE specifically, too.
Okay.
Edge, John Cena, Daniel Bryan, Chris Jericho, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Kofi Kingston, AJ Styles.
Oh.
Do you need the belts again?
It's got to be the 8. One of them's tag team, right?
Yeah, so it's
Got to be
WWE
AJ
title,
Styles, right?
WWE title, IC title, US title, and a tag title.
It's got to be AJ Styles, right?
It's John Cena.
What? I thought John Cena won him with Edge.
John Cena has never won an IC title.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And another one, Sheamus, is also one belt away from winning the title, and it is also the IC title, I believe, which is equally crazy.
Do you still have the record for the shortest match?
Oh, at a WrestleMania with Daniel Bryan?
Yeah.
As far as I know, yeah. We watched that live. That was crazy. That should have been a great match, and it's too bad they killed that.
Just a kick right to the face. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Sheamus to this day is my dad's favorite pro wrestler because when we went to SmackDown in like 2010. I think you went to that show as well.
I did. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
And because how ghastly white Sheamus is,
he is.
Whenever I bring up something pro wrestling, my dad will bring him up. Yeah.
Like Casper's scared of that motherfucker, dude. Like Jesus.
On to the next. This is back to true or false. Jeff Jarrett of AEW and founder of TNA was the babysitter to the Time Person of the Year Taylor Swift. True or false?
Jeff Jarrett. I feel like that's not someone you want babysitting your kid, but that's such a weird question that I'm going to have to say true.
That is true. What's wrong with Jeff Jarrett, man?
He's like insane.
Yeah, probably broke
and
it.
Him and his wife were having issues in TNA real good.
Big time. Yeah, Kurt Angle snatched his wife away. Or was it the other way around?
It was the other way around, I think.
Oh, yeah. Actually, that is right. I think now that I think about that. That's crazy. Okay. But yeah, Jeff Jarrett, who is known for smacking the guitar of opponents' heads, I don't think would have done that to baby Taylor Swift. But yeah, they're both from Hendersonville, Tennessee, which is also where my I have some family down there. Well, Taylor, they lived there at the same time and like were neighbors. So yeah. Okay. So are you familiar with the Anoa'i family tree, the most prestigious family in all of pro wrestling?
Is that like that's not Roman Reigns, is it? Mm-hmm. Oh, it is?
Yep, that would be correct.
All right.
A flurry of pro wrestlers who have predominantly wrestled for WWE, but I think there's a few that have made some connections to AEW. What I figured I would do is do something similar with what we did earlier with find out who the imposter is. And we were going to go through the bloodline, and I want you to tell me who is the imposter.
Alrighty.
I will tell you that there are 3 imposters I put in this list.
Okay.
Yeah. And not all of these relations are by blood. Some are by marriage.
All right.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Rocky Johnson, The Rock, Rikishi, Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso, Roman Reigns, Umaga, Yokozuna, Evan Bourne, Solo Sikoa, Tamina, Nia Jax, Lord Tensai, Jimmy Superfly Snuka, Naomi, Eva Rain, and The Godfather. There's 3 imposters.
Evan Bourne's got to be one of the imposters.
You don't believe that? You don't believe Evan Bourne could be a part of the bloodline?
No, absolutely not. Unless it's through marriage, and I don't know who he would have married.
Yeah, you'd be correct in saying that he is one of the imposters. Yeah.
And then I'm thinking, who'd you say before Rikishi?
The Rock.
Go from the beginning again.
Rocky Johnson, The Rock, Rikishi, Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso, Roman Reigns, Umaga,
Umaga as well.
Okay, and then there's one more. Yokozuna, Evan Bourne, who you said, Solo Sikoa, Tamina, Nia Jax, Lord Tensai, Jimmy Superfly Snuka, Naomi, Eva Rain, The Godfather.
Is it Eva Rain?
No. Okay, so the last 2 you got wrong. The false ones, the imposters, are Evan Bourne, The Godfather, and Lord Tensai.
Oh.
Yeah, so Umaga is the brother, is dead. That is true. But also the brother of Rikishi.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And who was the other one you said was false?
Eva Rain.
Eva Rain is the ring name of The Rock's daughter.
Mm.
Yeah, who has started to work in developmental for WWE.
Wonder if she's gonna. How old is she?
She's our age. She's 22.
So she probably won't have anything to do with The Rock's return this time then.
Who knows? I mean, maybe. She could. I don't know. Maybe she could be a manager or something. I would think that they would put her in like NXT first, to get some matches going.
Yeah.
Because debuting at WrestleMania would be quite insane. Not a lot of people get that honor. Donald Trump has, but besides that, I can't recall very many other. I got another thing that is similar with wrestlers' real names coming off of the Eva Rain deal. And we got 2 left, by the way, for this little quiz I got here. So wrestlers' real names, I want you to find the frauds. I'm going to do basically the same thing. I'm going to go through and say the ring name and the real name, or maybe it's the imposter. And I want you to tell me which ones are the imposter. There are 3 imposters on this list.
Okay.
Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
John Cena, ring name. His real life name is John Cena. Ring name, Bobby Lashley, real name, Robert Lashley. Ring name, Batista, real life name, David Batista. Ring name, AJ Styles, real life name, Alan Neil Jones. Ring name, Dominic Mysterio, real life name, Dominic Mysterio. Ring name, Dolph Ziggler, real life name, Dolph Ziggler. Ring name, Finn Balor, real life name, Fergal Devitt. Ring name, Sheamus, real life name, Connor McDonald. Ring name, Seth Rollins, real name, Colby Lopez. That's all I have.
There's no way Sheamus' name is Connor McDonald.
You don't think? You don't think Sheamus' real name could be Connor McDonald?
No.
Is that not the fakest name you've ever heard for an Irish person?
It is, but I swear if he's that white and named Connor, I just can't believe it.
You'd be correct. That is not his real name. Sheamus' real name is Stephen Fairley, or Farley. I'm not 100% sure on how to pronounce that.
That's a bit better. That's still weird, Steven, and you're looking like that.
Yeah, Sheamus suits him well, I think.
It does. He should change his name.
Yeah. Do you know the other 2?
Dolph Ziggler. I don't think Dolph Ziggler's real name is Dolph Ziggler.
It would be pretty crazy if Dolph Ziggler's real name was Dolph Ziggler. You were also correct with that one.
Then I think Dominic Mysterio. Is that the last one?
Yes. Yeah, 100% on that one.
Yep.
So Dominic's real name is Dominic Gutierrez. And then Dolph Ziggler's real name is Nick Nemeth, who just debuted at New Japan.
Oh, wow.
At their pro wrestling. Yeah. And he debuted as his real name, Nick Nemeth. And I got one more true or false question for you. Glenn Jacobs, the person behind the Big Red Machine Kane, in real life, post-retirement, is the Republican mayor of Knox County, Tennessee. True or false?
I don't know. See, now that's a trick question because I don't know whether or not he's the Republican mayor or just the mayor. I know he's the mayor of somewhere.
You think I maybe I fluffed something up within the phrasing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think he is the mayor.
So are you saying true or false?
I'm saying true.
That is true. He is the Republican mayor of Knox County, Tennessee, which is pretty insane to have Kane.
I don't know why they'd elect that guy, dude. That guy's creepy.
Yeah, the most imposing figure maybe of all time to be an elected county official. But there you go.
I hope whatever he does, like announcements, his super old theme song, like na 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 na.
Yeah, the organ going. Yeah, yeah. And do you recall Kane's original voice?
What do you mean? Oh yeah.
Robotic, almost. Yeah, because he had. It was as if he had like a. I don't remember the name of the device, or I don't recall the name of the device, but it's as if he had a trach because his storyline was that he was Undertaker's brother and he burned in a house.
Yeah.
So that's everything I have for you. You did pretty good on the quiz, so kudos to you.
Better than I thought I'd do.
Yeah. So kudos to you. And I think that's going to be good for this episode of the podcast. So before you go, thank you for joining me, and I'd love to do another one sometime down the line.
Of course. I'd love to come back.
Yeah. Anything you want to plug or anything you want to say before I let you go? The floor is yours.
I don't think so. I think that's it, man.
All right. Well, hey, thank you. That's my good friend Jackson joining us for The Cell today. You have a great rest of your week, and we'll see what the next episode entails right here, live everywhere. Where you get your podcasts, it's The Cell, a pro wrestling show.